Because we get to work with and talk with dozens of people who retire each year, we get to see those who do it well, and then we also get to see those who make some mistakes. So in this video, I'm gonna help you avoid some of those most common mistakes that people make in retirement. Welcome back, or if I haven't met you yet, I'm Dave Zoller and I run Streamline Financial. It's a retirement planning firm with Tim and Luke and Sean. And if you like videos on making your retirement better, subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. So on to the first mistake, and that is relocating too quickly after they retire. It's definitely okay if moving is a part of your retirement plan, but here's a story of how two couples did it in different ways, and think about which one you'd rather want to be. The first couple knew the town that they wanted to move to, and they had a reason why. It was the town that they both grew up in. It was they had lived in Chicago, and now they're moving back to more rural area. Housing was less expensive, and they still had some friends there. And after they retired, they sold the place close to Chicago, in the suburb of Chicago, and then they bought a house back in the new location and moved and did everything. The following year, they made some changes to the house and got it updated to the way that they wanted. But 6 months in, because they were clients, we were talking regularly, 6 months in, they realized that they don't really love the place that they are. It's just wasn't the same. It wasn't the house. The house was fine. They made it the way they wanted, but it wasn't the same feeling as what they remember when they used to live there. So they ended up selling that year and then moving to a new location. Now they've been in the new location for over 10 years and things are good. The second couple, though, they went through something similar where they sold their house and relocated to a new state, to California. And this was about 10 years ago. But rather than buy, they rented and they tested the waters to make sure it was right for them. They found out that they didn't have a sense of community within the first year. It was hard to make new friends with where they were, and it just didn't feel right. And after a year, they tried a new location and they rented again. And they quickly, within the first 3 months, they fell in love with it because it was a few social connections that they made. That's when they bought the place. They bought a place in that location, and they've been there for the last 9 years, and they're living their retirement dream. So think about your options if you're going to relocate. Maybe it's worth paying for flexibility for a year or two, and just make sure that you found the right place by renting. There's nothing wrong with renting. Some people think it's a waste of money, but I don't know, for a big move like that, it seems that's not the only couple stories I have for people moving and renting. Mistake number two, though, it may sound strange, but it happens to be a common thing that we see, and that's just not spending money or over saving. And this just means that many retirees, they've got the ability to spend more money or give more money in retirement, but they're overly frugal because they're still worried about running out of money, or they want to save more for their kids or their heirs. And the reason I believe that this is because maybe they don't have a plan, or maybe they haven't looked at the various scenarios that could play out. So once you're able to create that income plan and show the impact of the money decisions today on your future, it becomes a lot easier to use your money the way that you want to. And it gives you more confidence in the future as well. On to number three, another mistake related to the income plan is that many retirees, they don't accurately predict or project what taxes are going to be in retirement. Or they often plan out the next 1 to 3 years, which is good, but they don't look at what the next 10 years plus are going to be. And I know it's impossible to predict what tax rates are going to be and things like that, but at least looking at with reasonable growth rates, what's your required minimum distribution going to be? Projecting those RMDs in the future is a good idea because you may be in a position where you wouldn't take that distribution, that required amount each year, if you weren't forced to by the government. And if that's the case, there are tax planning strategies you can use in retirement to minimize how much tax you pay over your lifetime. And doing tax projections each year is a good idea, and it's a key part of the tax planning system at Streamline as well. The next common mistake that we see in retirement is when people use their newly created free time and they use that and replace it with investment study. And a lot of people think that I planned my retirement up until this point, and I realized that now there's a lot more moving parts and maybe there's a higher level of importance in some of these decisions that I have to make. But now that I'm retired, I'll be able to become more of an expert and I'll be able to have more time to study. And the reason why this is a mistake, they realize that there's different levels when it comes to proper retirement planning. Level one is really using rules of thumb to plan your retirement, and it's possible to have a successful retirement using those rules, but there are also things I can do to make it even better. When they have help or guidance with somebody else or with a real expert, peace of mind increases, and having an expert continually monitor and run multiple scenarios and helping make decisions is valuable as well. It actually brings more stress when they retire if they decide to do it themselves. And again, this isn't everybody. It might be a thing that just lights you up and you've got a passion for it and it's something that you really, really love and you don't have any stress. So then continue to do it. But there's many where they've got conflicting views when they don't know what decision they should make because of the conflicting advice that they get from YouTube or from other places when they're trying to do it themselves. And the chances of making a costly mistake are a lot higher when you get to that $2 or $3 million level, or really when you get to retirement. If you've got probably the most money than you've ever had, a mistake there is in dollar terms going to be more than it used to be. So mistake number 5, in a similar vein, is listening to friends' advice about investing or retirement strategies. It does make sense to learn from those who have gone before you, right? And maybe they're 5 years into retirement and you're able to glean wisdom from them and maybe learn the mistakes that they made so that you can avoid them. But when it comes to details of investment strategy or income strategy, don't put too much weight on it because they're not you and they've got different needs and they've got different values and risk tolerance. So one guy I talked to recently, he said that his friend who's 10 years older than he is, he put his money into a 60-40 portfolio at Vanguard. It's a 2 to 3 fund solution and it worked out for him. So why not me? Why, the person was thinking, why shouldn't I just do that too? And maybe it would work. But when you look at all the different asset classes out there that's available, his strategy would really be investing in just a small fraction of the available investing world. And it might not be prepared for all the economic seasons we might go through. So the next mistake is failing to plan how you're going to spend your time in retirement. In order to make this the best retirement possible, we need to think about the non-financial side as well. And thinking through what you're going to do and what will give you purpose, excitement, and joy in retirement is important because there's a stage after the honeymoon stage of retirement where a lot of people go through kind of this disenchantment phase and they tend to ask, is this really all that there is? So let's avoid that stage and live a life that we love. And I actually have a worksheet in module 1 of the DIY retirement plan if you'd like to check that out in the description below. And so far, if this has been helpful for you, please take a moment just to click the like button and maybe share it with a friend so that maybe they can be helped as well. The next mistake is another financial one, and it's just moving too conservative with your investments. And you've probably seen this drawing before. It's that feeling of security and safety. It gets stronger. Let's say this is your retirement date. That feeling and need for security really grows to its peak as you get closer to this retirement date. And it kind of stays there for a while until things tend to level out. And this tends to make people want to get more and more conservative with the assets that they're holding in their retirement accounts. And that could actually lead to harming their retirement plan, especially during periods of higher than expected inflation seasons. So just be aware of that, be aware of the feelings, the emotion side that comes with retirement. The next mistake is not getting aligned with your partner on how you want to spend your retirement or how you want to spend your money. You may have different perspectives around money and may have different ideas of what you want to do. And that's why defining and discussing your money values is important, because when our values become clear, then our financial decisions become easier. And an example is, if I value being outside, if I value nature and travel, then I may spend money. I may spend $3 to $5K on an Alaskan vacation with my family or something like that. Whereas my neighbor, his values might be local community. His values might be related to local relationships, and he'd rather spend $3 to $5K throughout the year on multiple entertaining things at his house or going out to whatever entertainment with his friends, restaurants and things like that. So both are good uses of money, but one is better for me and one is better for him. So getting aligned with your spouse or partner and just thinking through these things together is very important before you get to that point. And again, there's exercises in the DIY plan below if you're interested in those. And if you found this video helpful, then like and subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video. Take care.